but no one in the world is born with the skills of hiring and recruitment. And so when a company, this mistake is very easy to make because most companies are not HR companies. And so they don't know what they're doing. So unless you have an HR professional in your company, it's very easy to make the mistakes of not having the right channels and not having the best experience. And like, do you know where to find these best candidates? Do you know what questions to ask them and how to vet them?
And live. All right. Hello, Karla. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for joining us in the Streamline to Scale group. We are super excited to be talking about all things outsourcing here today with Karla. A little about Karla is she's a seasoned entrepreneur with over 14 years of business ownership experience. She started by opening a flower shop in 2009 and rose to 10 dealerships by 2017, which that's huge. I mean, and also really cool because I'm obsessed with flowers. So I would love to do that and hear more. But since then, she's also started multiple traditional and online businesses and has a few needle moving things in outsourcing and delegation that make it faster to scale for businesses. So her biggest milestone is growing her outsourcing company from 0 to 7 figures without spending anything on ads. And today she's really helping business owners achieve scale with fast growth through highly trained remote professionals from the Philippines. So super excited to have you here and hear more about, all this success and everything that you've created to help businesses scale. Really appreciate this, Karla.
Thanks, Michele. And thanks for the invite. I'm super excited to be here and pour love into your community.
Heck yeah. We love people like this. We love hearing stories like this, but also, getting these kind of insights here. We just are really trying to help connect to visionaries and operators. So, being able to outsource is just a huge aspect of that a lot of people still struggle with for so many reasons. And especially, when they're looking at vetting overseas teams and hiring. So I'm curious, what are some of your secrets to hiring and vetting for overseas?
Right. So I love it. Just diving right into some of the big questions. I think, before we start with that, I would like to preface that one of the big principles and the aha moment that gave me, throughout the years that I've formed this idea throughout the years, and I'm still learning new perspectives of this one idea, but this major idea that I realized, starting different businesses and working with different business owners, whether it's in the capacity of a consultant or a business owner providing them a service, is that number one, most business owners are true visionaries. If you look at the personality type of entrepreneurs and most entrepreneurs, they have ideas and they have higher risk tolerance, and they love novelty. They love the excitement of that first sale. They love being creative. So all this personality type is connected to being a visionary. A lot of the founders and business owners are visionaries because these are the people who decided to take basically the lesser known path, which is entrepreneurship, right? Most people, sometimes we live in this bubble because we're entrepreneurs. We think that everyone is like us, but actually we are the crazy ones. We are the outliers. And that doesn't mean we're better than, other people. We just took a different path. And there's a reason why there's less people, obviously less than 1% that, took this path than the regular path, which is employment, leadership, rising the corporate ladder, which is amazing and awesome because it provides security and it also provides you opportunities to be trained in the world's best practices. So both worlds are very attractive. So the big idea that I realized is that because most entrepreneurs are visionaries, they really need strong integrators and they really need strong operators, and they constantly need people that do stuff in the business and make things happen. And we can all be hardworking and become an integrator, obviously, in our business. especially when we're starting our business. But at the end of the day, based on what I learned from most founders and most entrepreneurs, what they love is the creation part, and anything related to that in the business. And so these things, all these other things need to be either partnered up, hired, or outsourced. And so that's why, in my big vision of serving other people who are like me, right? It's like that kid that decides to be a doctor because their mother, like suffered from cancer and they wish they could have done something. For me, I'm done with a burnt out life. I'm done with the uninspiring life where you grunt to wake up and go about your day. And I realized that I want to serve people like me. And so
I love this. I love this.
So with that, outsourcing. Yeah. So outsourcing is basically passing off tasks and roles to people outside of your organization so you don't have to do it yourself. And one of the major trends that really took an uptick during the pandemic is outsourcing to other countries, right? Outsourcing, especially to countries where there is a currency advantage, like the US dollar to the Philippine peso, or the US dollar to the Mexican peso, or outsourcing to Eastern Europe. There's a lot of people that now also outsource to South Africa and the Balkans. So, this is outsourcing. And so when you're hiring from these other places with different cultures and with different countries, I can give you like 3 tips that will help you find, the best of the best, even if you're not familiar with where they are. And so I would say number 1 is look at how the big corporations in that country hire. Look at what requirements they put. Do they put a specific college degree as a requirement? Is that an advantage? Are they hiring from specific locations where internet connection is stable? So, Philippines is an archipelago, for example. So we have 7,000 islands, and a lot of those islands, unfortunately, still don't have very reliable internet or fast, or can't even get to like 20 Mbps. And this is just a reality in the rest of the world. And so you got to find out about that. And then the location, another level of the location nuance is is it prone to calamity? You don't want to be hiring from certain places where there are a lot of earthquakes or typhoons. And so Philippines being an archipelago of 7,000 islands, there are certain islands and areas that are more calamity prone. So for me, as a seasoned company, we don't hire from those locations, mainly because we just don't want any problems, with our clients. And of course, that's not a promise that they won't ever get an earthquake or a typhoon, but at least you're really lessening your chances. So my number 1 tip would be hire where the big corporations in that country hire. In fact, you can Google blue chip stocks in blue chip stocks in the Philippines, and then you'll find the biggest corporations in that country, right? Because they are the ones that own the blue chip stocks. So really, this is just a really strategic way of looking at it. My number 2 tip would be make your expectations clear. I think humans all around the world are the same. And the root of disappointment really is unmet expectations, right? It doesn't matter where you're trying to get a haircut, or whether you're trying to get food, or whether you're honestly paying a prostitute. You have certain expectations. Michele just
know that was coming.
Yeah, her coffee. Yeah, like seriously, like if you're hiring a prostitute, you have certain expectations, and honestly, you probably need to communicate those expectations better, because there could be a lot of nuances there, like what they're okay with and what they're not. Right?
You could be surprised with like a toy or all kinds of different things. You never know.
Yeah, are they okay to like do this thing with that part of their body? Like, you you have to be clear. Clear communication is very important, right? So
it's very important. It really is, though, in every part of business and life. Like expectations, especially, like a lot of, I've been dealing with that with the client recently, is like the expectations, and the new hire just didn't feel like they understood the expectations. So it's like, you really have to dial those in and be completely clear when you're hiring anyone, a sex worker or partner or business team member, anything.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people, when they prepare to hire overseas or outsource, they try to over communicate on the requirements or the tasks, but the expectations are really the most important part, because it is a qualitative way of communicating what is success to you, right? So these could be like KPIs, OKRs. It depends on how, for me, I'm agnostic to systems. And so some people are very into EOS. Some people are very into like a certain type of system for their company. And once again, that's why if you can't do this yourself, you probably need advice from like operations executives or experts like Michele and some of the people we have here in this group. And so communicate your expectations correctly, because that will really make it clear about what you're expecting. And there's no, it's just very hard to miscommunicate if you're clear on your expectations. You will not have any problems on cultural nuances, time zone, you'll make it very clear in your expectations. And number 3, this is one of my favorite things to say when you're hiring. Actively, your hiring announcement is copy. It is copy. So actively try to attract, the right candidate or the right person for your team and for the task, for the role. And also actively repel people who are not a good match. So essentially you're writing copy that, and you have like a target market, which is the candidates, the perfect candidates for you. And then also you have the people that you don't want, because they're just a waste of time for you and for them. You're never hiring them. They're not qualified. And so actively attract the right people and actively repel, literally say this is not for you if, just like you would write copy. So there's also a ton of people here who are very talented with copy. And so you will, a quick word from them, if you have a friend, would definitely help you out.
Absolutely. It's huge. I remember I think I commented on something that you've been doing these 100 days of outsourcing tips, which have been so incredibly helpful. It's been really awesome. So anybody who's listening, go follow Karla, because she always drops some hilarious bombs like you just heard earlier, but also 2 incredibly helpful tips on outsourcing and all kinds of things. So yeah, you mentioned that in a comment was it's selling the job. That's what you're doing, is you are selling the job, and you're also ensuring that that people who are not a fit, don't match up with it. They don't waste your time or their time, applying for something. So I think I told you I had this one instance where I was honestly I was feeling sick. I was kind of being a little half-assed about a couple of posts that I made. And a friend of mine, John, called me out, and he's like, really should try to sell these a little bit more, add a little bit of copy and blah, 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 in a very nice way. And as soon as I did that, it made a world of difference. I started getting, the really great candidates, no more of the nonsense kind of stuff. You are selling a position. In order to attract the right people, you need to be positioning it so that you do attract the right people. We all are in this, especially in this space where we're all, like you said, entrepreneurs who have that certain type of drive to always be pushing and doing different things a little bit differently. It's just a different world to be hiring in. So those tips are very awesome. Thank you. I had no idea about that I didn't even think about that in terms of looking at locations and what other big companies are suggesting or requiring for hiring like that. That's super smart. So I'd love to hear some of the mistakes. We've all made mistakes in terms of hiring. What do you feel are some that you see most often when people try to do it themselves or that you've made yourself even?
Right, exactly. So the funny thing about outsourcing is it is hiring. It is like HR work, right? Because you hire, you vet, you place, you manage their onboarding, and then you keep a scorecard, and then you communicate what success is to them, and then you come up with a way to manage them. And that's really, that's outsourcing. A lot of outsourcing companies do it, that try to do the easy way, which is, you pay us money and we'll give you a VA, and that's it. Like, I think that is really, in my opinion, I think that conversation is so incomplete, and it leaves a lot of room for mistakes. And to be honest, I think these companies just want like the quick buck, and they just, they're just taking advantage of marketing one part of the problem, which is hire cheap, which is honestly, some people are attracted to that idea, but I don't want to work with those people. And I only want people that hire quality people. And I'm super proud, as a Filipina, I grew up in the Philippines. I'm super proud to say that there are a lot of people who are really like up to the standard, world-class standards, and they are not just VAs or virtual assistants. And that's what we focus on in my company, in Proximity Outsourcing. I would say 1 out of 10 people that we hire are VAs, and the rest are managers, client success managers, operations managers. And if you're curious on how this works, feel free to send me a message. I'm always happy to answer. Definitely mention this group, because if I don't know where you come from, I might just not read your message. But if you're Michelle's friend, or like you're in this group, I'm happy to help you out and give you some advice, and let you know about our process. So I've known that there are 4 like tough mistakes that a lot of people make when they try to DIY this. Number 1 would be like poor hiring channels and experience. And so because this is first and foremost like a recruiter job, like Michele, this is a thing. No one is born with this skill. Let's start with that, right? So this is a skill that you learn as you do it. No one is a natural hirer. No one is a talented recruiter from like elementary school. No, you can be a good dancer. You can have like a certain talent for, I don't know, chess or golf or whatever, right? You have better hand-eye coordination, so you'll become a great athlete. Or maybe if you can afford it, get some consulting time from people like Michele, or just avoid these mistakes and hire an experienced outsourcing company. So basically find the person with experience, and then run your plan through them. That would be my advice. If you don't want to work with an outsourcing company, that's how you can do this your way. Number 2 would be poor vetting and testing of candidates. And so a lot of people lie on their resumes, and a lot of people present themselves very well in interviews. And so what we do in our company is we have different, each hiring plan is custom, and we have different ways to test certain things. Even during the interview, the way we ask questions and what questions we ask are very qualitative and very, situation-based, solution-based. We really try to find out what happened, and we ask for stories instead of, like, what are your traits, or something like that. So I've met a lot of people that have great resumes, and they present themselves well. They speak amazing English. This is the other thing, guys. You will make this mistake. If you hire overseas, you could hire someone that's not a good fit for the job, and you end up hiring them only because they have amazing English. What if that girl has an American boyfriend, but she's not really a good fit? But because they present themselves so well and they speak amazing English, you think that and then you like them, right? Now you have a bias towards them because they sound like you. And this is, we're just human. We're just human. It's not being racist or anything. It's just how the world works. And so make it objective. There's websites like Test Gorilla, where you can use to do custom testing, free English proficiency tests like EFSET. You can just Google the EFSET tests. They can grade. You can do a quick 15-minute English proficiency test that will grade your English level. And find out, you can even run like IQ tests that test for abstract reasoning, mental acuity, problem solving. So, and then of course, you can find out how they perform under pressure. And of course, lastly, don't be shy to send a test task, a paid test task. Like if one position is super crucial, offer your, I would say, top 3 or top 5 candidates, offer them a paid test task. Give them a task, give them a deadline, tell them you're going to pay for their time. Of course, you have to be fair. And then see who delivers the best results. So that is also one thing that we do at Proximity Outsourcing. And it really impresses our clients and gives us, the real deal on how they handle these tasks. And so also the other thing is test for culture fit. So try to ask qualitative questions on previous experiences. Try to get an idea on how they think. I learned a very good question that Peter Thiel shared in his book 0 to 1. His favorite hiring question is at the end of every interview, he said he asks each candidate, what is a truth that you believe in that most people would disagree with? And so there's no right or wrong answer, but it gives you an insight on how these people think, right?
Yeah.
And so Michele, what is the truth?
Oh God. Now we're going to get in trouble. No, I mean, I can definitely see how like that would bring out a lot of interesting responses, honestly. Like, oh God, a truth I believe most people
Aliens.
I mean, yeah, I definitely believe in aliens. 100. I mean, I am one. Hello. No, there's a few of them, but for the sake of this call, I'm not going to say too many, because the first one that pops in my mind, I did mention that we did this conversation at a mimosa, actually, with a couple people at the table. And there was some people who believed in flat Earth. There was some people who believed in, a lot of different things. And it was really interesting. And mine got political, and I'm not going to go down that route here because it's just not the place. But it really does, like, it shows you more about their personality and their culture. Like one of the people who, was believed in the earth is flat is very much, they're a very religious community. Their business and their entire team are very religious. They all kind of align on these views. So it's just, it's interesting in terms of like how that brings your culture together. Right. No, okay. So no, wait. Now you threw that at me. Like I have to ask you, what's your truth that you believe in that other people would disagree with?
One of the truths that I'm still obviously like forming a whole opinion on this, but a truth that I believe in is that, this is hard. I think a lot of people, I'm going to get canceled for this, but I think, with the increasing conversations around mental health and depression and things like that, now we are like more open to talking about it. Seeing a therapist is now kind of cool. You're not crazy, One of the things that I've noticed is that I think healing and the process of healing feels nice. But I think a lot of people get addicted to that and then they stay broken because the healing process seems nice. I moved to Playa del Carmen over the pandemic, honestly, because I didn't want to be forced to take the jab. And it was not a yes or no. It was more of like, I want to wait, right? And I want to form my decision properly. And this city has a very cool like wellness culture. Everyone goes to the gym. Honestly, a lot of people just walk around in bikinis. Like it's the opposite of America, where most people are obese and overweight, So I really love the health culture here. But there are a lot of healing modalities here, like Reiki, even like ayahuasca, like DMT, mushroom, cacao. So I notice that a lot of people come here for those things and the healing stuff. And I get it. It feels nice. Reiki energy actually feels nice. I believe in that. But a lot of people, I feel like they try to stay broken, or they like, I don't know, they blow up a small thing in their lives, and they stay in that space of having anxiety and depression because they feel like it's comfortable still or something. Like they do these healing modalities not to get out, but just as some sort of a maintenance thing, and they just accept it that they'll always have it. So
it's like that validation. No, I understand what you mean. Like, I see a lot of people who just who move through it, but then a lot of people who also kind of go back to always saying, well, this is why it's that way, or this trauma is what's causing that. And that's just who it is. And it's like that validation and that continual, like you said, like continuing feeling like you're healing from it, but at the same time, you're letting it affect your life in a way that it's still a part of your life instead of like moving on. And it's the story you're telling yourself. It's the story you're repeating and the story you're creating. So, I mean, one, I am super jealous that you moved to PDC for that. Like, I wish I had gone to Playa for that, because I got to tell you that probably is my truth that most people disagree with, is that I was highly upset that I got the jab, but I only did it. Like, I was so against it. And I did not want it. I knew it wasn't for me. And my body was screaming at me, I'm not ready. I don't need this yet. But my family, I was moving back to Arizona to spend some time with them. And family was saying, we can't see you, not even outside, not even with masks on. You can't be around us. I was getting uninvited to weddings. I was, being alienated from my circle. And like, I was like, okay, what's the worst that's going to happen? I just remember standing in line, like, to get it done. And my insides were just screaming, run and get away. Like, don't do this. And so like, that's one of the hardest things that I've been dealing with for a long time, is that I did go against my own internal judgment to do that. And I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with me on that, and that's fine. But that's a personal opinion and a personal health concern. But yeah, I totally see what you mean in terms of like, sometimes people get stuck in that kind of like continual healing, but that story just continues of what it is. And I think it's important to talk about the mental health and relate and validate and understand these things. But I think it's also important to realize that's the past, and this is the future that I'm creating is not that. And who I am is not that. So not relating, not associating your being to whatever experience you have had or felt, and so on. So anyway, digress a little bit.
But see, like how many values came out of that, right?
Yeah.
Like it showed that. So if I'm assessing you, it showed that you take ownership of your decisions. It showed that you actually think through your decisions, consider a lot of things. It shows that you love your family, and that's a major value to you. So see how many values come out. I'm actually having goosebumps from just discussing this with you, because I feel like it's such a breakthrough. And this is how these qualitative questions work in your business. You really get to know this team member that you're hiring, and you get to know, you'll find if they have leadership qualities, you'll find it super early on in your relationship, because they're sharing a personal value with you.
That's so true. I mean, that is so true. And like, you're understanding more of like what motivates them, what really drives them, how they feel about things, and like what they're, like you said, their values. So that's really powerful. I'm definitely going to start using that. That's a good one.
I'm excited. And it's fun. It's fun. You'll find out different things about people, and it helps you, think things through. You might not have thought of this idea before, and now you're like, right. So it's a great experience. So thank you, Peter Thiel. Obviously, he's one of the smartest guys out there, and I can only wish I can take credit for that. Number 3 mistake is a substandard onboarding process. And so a lot of people, because this is your company, this is your outsourced team member, both of you are new to each other. It's like you just started dating. And so of course you're going to fight. There's going to be miscommunication. There's going to be missed expectations somewhere. There's going to be, I thought this is fine. It wasn't. And one of the things that contributes to that is a substandard onboarding process. And so do you have your scorecards ready, your expectations properly laid out? Do you have your templates, systems, access? How do you give feedback? What does your feedback look like? And so you have to prepare these things. So, and then I also suggest daily stand-ups for the first 2 weeks between the hired person and their direct supervisor. Even if it's a 15-minute daily stand-up, it corrects a lot of things, and it really helps, going through, okay, let's go through yesterday, what went right and what went wrong. So this is if you do your daily stand-up in the beginning of the day, and if you do it at the end of the day, what went wrong and what went right today, how can we correct it, how can we avoid it moving forward. This season of correction, like the first 2 weeks, helps a lot in really speeding up, one, if you guys are correct, if you guys are right for each other or not, and seeing if if you're going to continue working on it, if it's not a very good experience, if there's enough in that professional relationship to keep going, So obviously, if you're the boss, try to be forgiving, try to also accept feedback from them, because if you're DIYing this, your onboarding process might not be super perfect. But once again, you have experts like Michele, try to get advice and or even advice from a friend. Have a second pair of eyes, look at your onboarding process. And then last mistake is poor ongoing management. And so a lot of people, they don't just want to do tasks. Remember, these are human beings, and human beings have a natural desire for growth, especially during 20s and 30s, where this is like our best growth years, right? So try to give your outsourced team a ladder for advancement, skill-wise and personal development-wise. So within 6 months, I'll give you some examples. Within 6 months, do you give them free access to, or are you going to buy them a certification course that helps them improve at what they're doing? Are you sending them to a retreat? No? Are you buying coaching for them? Are they going to earn benefits? Are they going to get promoted? What are the expectations? So you're giving them a path to go and a path to move forward. So they're always excited about working in your company and not have the factory worker effect. So what I call like a factory worker effect is just like, okay, I come in for work, I clock in, I do the thing, I clock out. I don't think about my job ever again. So you don't want to have that. You want like a fully present individual giving their gifts and time to your company. And so what you should give in return, yes, the salary is nice, benefits are great, but also give them a path to grow, because your business is also here to grow. And you can't grow if there's 100 people in your company and you're the only one that's growing. It's gonna suck, if all you have are factory workers, quote unquote, then you're gonna have a lot of problems in growth.
I totally, 100%. And like, you're not bringing in that innovation and that, that growth is important to everyone. And nobody wants to feel like they are stagnant, underappreciated, undervalued. And just, these are little things that not only increase their skills and, boost your business by giving them trainings and, certification programs, sending them to coaching programs or events that will be helpful to them, but it's also helpful to you. And it's helping them also feel valued and appreciated within a business. And that's huge. Like, I think that for most people matters more than, pay and feeling valued. Those are like the number two things, in my opinion, that keeps the best team members around. Like, if they don't feel valued, they're not going to stay for any form of pay. For the most part, they'll find something that's similar or take a lesser pay just to actually feel valued and appreciated. So putting in these kind of, instances, like having that streamlined onboarding and like, actually engaging, helping them feel they are, working together on this. It's just like a dating, you have to, you're working on a relationship consistently and, feeling out how it works. So I really like that idea, like the 2-week stand-ups and things like that, as well as making sure you have a plan of ongoing management with them. That's really cool. Thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So I guess, you talked about this a little bit in terms of, some of the onboarding processes that you do. Like, do you have any like specific like onboarding processes that like you highly, they must do aside from these like 2 weeks, and also ongoing management, especially of, teams overseas where it's a lot of times you're on different time zones and it's a lot more difficult to connect. So.
Yeah. And so for onboarding, it's different for each client. Like what we do, it's different for each client. But really, it's kind of like a set of things that will help your remote professional succeed as soon as possible. So you're really just killing, you're really just collapsing time here. If you have a good onboarding process, because I'm going to admit, I've had bad onboarding processes that went okay, but it took so long for the person to actually get the groove on their role. And so we have to really tighten it up. And then every new person you hire, you're going to improve one little thing. And that would be great. My big tip would be a lot of Loom videos. A lot of Loom videos is great for onboarding because it just, saves time and it shows them a correct and reasonable expectation on how long a task takes, because you explaining it, trying to write it and everything sometimes takes forever. So, and of course, I would also advise investing in an LMS or a learning management system inside your company. I think WordPress has this for free actually, and you can give your teammates like a login to access this, but maybe create a course, like a course type, video number 1, video number 2. That would be great as well, especially if you're hiring for a role that's repetitive, or that you're going to hire, like say appointment setter. Your business is growing. You're hiring one now. Next month, you're going to hire another one. Next month, you're going to hire another one. And then don't forget also onboarding for company growth and culture fit, core values. So in my company, there are 2 kinds of onboarding. We have like, if we hire a client success manager, for example, for you, we're going to have our own onboarding, which is getting to know our company, telling the story of our founder or, me, our vision, our goals and our core values, expectations. And then we discuss like the boring HR stuff, like these are your benefits, blah, blah, blah. And then we have another onboarding, which includes the client. And all of our clients have a dedicated client success manager. And so whose only job is to make sure that their experience is great and retain them. Really, I even put it in my job description when I was hiring CSMs. Your job success is only going to be measured in 3 things: retention, testimonials, and referrals. And that's it. I don't care about the other stuff. So that was like a clear expectations that we set up. We created systems, templates, stuff around it. And so that is another onboarding, getting to know the business. What are my tasks? Basically related to the job description. So that would be my advice, doing kind of 2-pronged questions as well. And to your point of like ongoing management, my big advice, each company, depending on size, will have different options for ongoing management. We also, if you already have a team in the Philippines and you want to buy like benefits for them and provide ongoing management, we also have that in our company, because we really love it when business owners care about their people. And so the important thing is a ladder of advancement. What can they take from your company, or what is a gift that you can give them that is not related to money? Because these rewards are actually what's going to keep your best people. And not because if your only attraction is money or salary, they're going to leave you for someone with more money, right? It's like dating. If you're dating for just, because he's rich, then you're going to leave him for someone richer. But if he's like rich and kind and he, helps you grow, right? And, he's good in bed. Just kidding.
No, you're not.
Then, of course, you're staying with this guy, so even if someone comes along with more money, you're like, no, I'm staying with this guy. So it's the same thing with employees, with team members. If your only attraction is salary, they're gonna leave you. And trust me, there's always gonna be someone who's gonna pay more.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And honestly, like a lot of times too, like if that's all you're really going for is just the money, and like some people will leave just for better opportunities, for more growth opportunities, even if it's like similar or lower pay. Like, if there's a chance that they're going to grow into something bigger, or they align with the mission more, they feel like they're making a better impact somewhere. People care about like the impact that they're making, and they want to feel valued and they want to feel appreciated. So you have to have more than just money at it. Like money matters, definitely, because that's the energy and the transaction that keeps us going and living, but you have to have a lot more than that. Like, it's saying, like you said, like just like dating, friendships, anything else. I mean, friendships, I guess you're not really about money, but anything in your life, like it's about more. It's about human connection, and it's about the pieces that keep us growing and evolving as people and as humans. That's all we really want.
Yay. Michele for mayor.
Mayor of Crazy Town. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I mean, this has been really, really interesting. I super appreciate you bringing all this to us. Like, is there, I mean, it's been really valuable to me. And I don't know if you've noticed, I hope I was quiet. I was trying to type really quietly, but I was typing a lot. So I took a ton of notes and I really appreciate it. It's been really great. Is there anything else that like you think that would be really helpful for people, motivating team, or anything else that you want to kind of throw out there for them, especially around outsourcing? And, definitely hit up Karla if you're looking for outsourcing. But yeah, what else? Is there anything else you want to like kind of share with us today?
Yeah, I think the major thing with, I guess I would just share like general principles in outsourcing also. Everything in your business that doesn't involve high level decision making can be outsourced, like literally everything. So, when I learned this, actually, I realized that, so you can start any business actually, really, and have these cheaper options, because you can hire from overseas, and it just opens up your options. And so I would say, as founders, as business owners, find the thing that you like doing in your business, because that's the thing that will make your business grow, because you're doing it with gusto. No one's forcing you to do it, right? So when we are forced to do something, our results are not, we're not motivated to be the best at it, right? And so that's why with our hobbies, even though we're not paid to like play piano or play golf or watercolor, whatever your hobbies are, you're not paid to do them, but you're doing your best, right? And so as a founder, as an entrepreneur, you need to find that part of your business that you absolutely love doing, and to feel safe and supported enough to outsource the other ones. One important note that I noticed with specifically female founders is a lot of women, I notice, are not actually very open to being supported, because we're so used to doing everything ourselves, especially mothers. They overgive to their children. And we have this mindset of like, I can do anything, I'm independent. And that's great. That's great. But what I notice is that psychologically, it closes up their willingness to be helped and be supported. And I just want, a lot of entrepreneurs to be open to that, and, do your due diligence, obviously, but you have to trust, because you can't grow if you don't trust other people to help you build your mission and grow your company. So I wanted to share that, really. Trust and surrender. The more you trust and surrender, the more you realize that business doesn't have to be all hustle, and it doesn't have to be hard. And I would say the turning point is, it is a lot of hustle when you're starting. The turning point, I think, is like 30K. If a business makes 30K revenue a month, that puts you to, if you're making 30% profit, that puts you at 12K or 10K a month, right? 10K or 12K, depending how smart you are with your expenses. But when you're in that level, you can breathe a little bit better and you can take some risks. So if you're a business in that level, really, really open yourself up to outsourcing important things in your business, especially those that will bring growth. That's when every time my business hits like 30K a month, I could breathe easier. And then I start to really think of high level stuff. And I think lastly, I want to also share that I think that a lot of people, when they outsource, they also don't trust the expert that they outsource to. So, just like what I shared on, like, no one is born with a talent to hire or recruit. You also have to trust this person that you're hiring. Try not to get in the way of their process. You can ask questions, get clarity, but you have to also like really, really trust the process, because you don't know what you don't know, and your business has also never been in this situation. That's why you ask for help. So yeah, I think that's it. And if anyone in this group, wants to talk about this, wants to check their options, we at Proximity Outsourcing always try to help you get to the best solution, even if that means that we don't have to, work together. So, I'm happy to invite you to a call, just a quick chat, send me a voice note, just mention this group, mention Michele, because otherwise I will not open your message.
I've come to that point too lately, to be quite honest. Like, the amount of messages I've been getting, I don't know about you, but it's been getting a little overwhelming. So yeah, I really appreciate you sharing all this with us. This was super valuable. I definitely took a lot of notes and gained a lot from this. So I appreciate it. And yeah, this was wonderful. Thank you, Karla.
Thank you so much, Michele. It's been my honor. It's my pleasure. And I'm super happy to be part of this community.
Awesome. We're so lucky to have you. And yeah, definitely if you have questions about outsourcing, like, hit up Karla. Also, I do want to mention, Karla's not just a wizard at outsourcing. Like, she has been a wizard at diversifying businesses, building businesses. Like, I know she's got a ton of, rental properties. I think I saw earlier that you have, well, I think you said you had some mortuary or some mausoleums.
Oh yeah, I invest in a lot of real estate, and so this is another bonus of outsourcing, guys. You can explore other things that make you happy or that you're curious about. And my personal principle in building a business is I'm just going to build cash cows and invest in boring stuff. And so I'm very lucky because my mom was a realtor, and she opened my eyes to investing early. And so this is another bonus of outsourcing and not having to be overworked in your business, is you can explore other investment channels, other opportunities for growth. So yeah, actually that was my last property, my last mausoleum, cemetery property. But we have like condos, Airbnb properties, and I invest in other stuff too. I actually invested in wine as well over the pandemic.
Ooh, smart.
Yeah.
Oh, smart. We need to have some of that wine someday.
Well, we can't drink it because we need to keep it. Increase its value.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
You bought it to age it and keep it for a while, you mean, or you invested in a winery?
No. So I wish I had an affiliate link for this, but there's this platform called vinovest.co. And they help you can start with like $1,000. They help you invest in wine, and you get to form your own investment profile. Like, are you conservative? Are you, and then they match you with certain wines. So I'm definitely conservative. And so I think they matched me with like Bordeaux or whatever. And then they will tell you how much they can buy with the money that you invested. And so for me, for example, my first $1,000, I was able to buy like 6 pieces or 1 crate of this one wine. And so that would be like $150 per bottle. And then they will keep it for you. They take a little bit of a storage fee, right? Of course, but eventually like it will increase its value. And the good thing is if you have a big milestone in your life and you want to drink your wine, you can. They'll ship it to you. Yeah, you can pull it out. And obviously, all of these wines are amazing. If you love wine, are amazing because these are the kinds of wines that increase value, right? Like they've already vetted these wines these years, you know, the climate of the region of the year where the grapes were picked. Like seriously, they did all the work. So it was fun.
That's really cool. My gosh. Yeah, you're not messing around. You got the flowers, you got the wine, you're like a one-stop date shop here, minus the mausoleums, but you know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool though. That's really neat. I love that you have that time and ability, and you know, just you're going out there and you're investing in so many things and building so many like cash cows and wealth generating revenue aspects and businesses. It's really cool. It's really cool. So
Thank you.
you're awesome. I really appreciate you, Karla. It was so fun getting to hang with you today.
Likewise.
Yeah. Well, hopefully I'll see you again soon. And thank you for being here today. I appreciate it.
Likewise. Thank you so much, Michele.
Thanks. Talk to you later.